What's up, guys? In this week's training tip, I want to address a question that I get asked all the time, which is, what do I do if squats hurt my knees? So first of all, if you have knee pain, especially if it's persistent knee pain that hasn't gotten any better over at least a couple of weeks, it might be worth going to visit with a physical therapist or a doctor to make sure that something more serious isn't going on. A personal trainer or a strength coach can't diagnose injuries, so even if you've been working with a coach and the pain persists, it's really best to get some medical attention just to make sure that things are as they should be. Now, if you're cleared to exercise and you just have some minor issues, there are absolutely ways that you can train around knee pain, modify your form, and use external tools to help you feel a little bit better as you squat. First things first, when we are talking about knee pain and squats, we always want to take a look at our foot position. Now, I did a whole separate video about this. You could check it out, look up training tip, foot position during squat, but I want to just revisit that a little bit. So a lot of times what I'll see when I see people with knee pain, or just people in general that are squatting and they're kind of newer to squatting, as we go down, the knees come in, but along with that we have the feet coming in. So I've found that if you focus on your foot position, dialing that in correctly, it automatically cleans up your knee position a little bit. So the first cue that I like to use is to imagine that a big earthquake happened and tore a crack in the floor between your feet. You're standing across the crack and you're trying to spread that crack apart as far as you can. So I use the cue spreading the floor. So as you go down, you're actually pushing out against the soles of your shoes, and that helps keep your knees in line with your toes as you squat. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I see a lot is people coming too far forward on their toes, which causes their knees to shoot way out over their toe and puts the knee in a vulnerable position. So I like to use the cue, keep your weight right in the middle of your feet. So at no point should your heels be coming off the ground. We want to just squat, push straight down, spread the floor, keep our weight right in the middle of our feet, and then stand up from there. So take a look at your foot position and see if something's going wrong there. Now I want to get into some of the tools that I use to teach people to squat in a way that's a little bit more knee friendly. So one thing that you can do is to use one of these small circular bands to teach you to push out with your knees and spread the floor with your feet. So all you're going to do is put this band just above your knees. You're going to get into your squat stance. Now right away you'll feel that the band pushes your knees in. So you have to use your hips to push that band out. You should feel this muscle turning on as you do this. Now you're going to just do your standard squat, but the whole time you're going to focus on pushing out against the band. So trying to keep my knees out over my toes. And I will feel, again, this muscle turn on. That's going to be my cue that I'm using the right muscles to keep my knees in a safe position. Another tool that I love to use with squatting is a box. The box is going to teach you to sit back. Remember I talked about people getting too far onto their toes? This is going to allow you to recruit more of your hips and hamstrings as you squat and not put all of that force right into your knee. Now, I would recommend starting with a box that's about parallel to the ground, but I want to add a caveat here. If you are going to squat this low and you feel like you're falling onto the box, you feel like you can't control it, or if you watch yourself in the mirror and you see your lower back start to round, you need to use a higher box. So don't be a hero, don't try to use a super low box if you can't control that, okay? So what I want you to do, whatever size box you're using, as you've seen here, you can also use a smaller box and stack pads to get to whatever height you want. You're going to stand in front of the box and then you're going to focus on sitting your butt back behind you as far as you can. So because we have the box to support us, we can actually hinge a little bit more and sit back a little bit farther than we could without it. This is going to keep our shins a little more vertical and again, less pressure on the knee. So I'm really sitting back all the way down to the box, making sure I keep tension here so I don't just want to collapse. And then I'm going to, again, spread the floor, stand up nice and tall. So again, sitting my hips back, and then standing up from there. My last piece of advice is to change the type of squat that you're performing. Way too many people are trying to perform barbell back squats when they simply aren't a good fit for a lot of different body types. If your knees are bothering you, first of all, I would avoid barbell squatting at all for some time. I would practice doing goblet squats. You can do kettlebell squats, something where it's a smaller implement and it's front loaded. You're not going to be able to hold as much weight, so you'll be able to really dial in your form and make sure you're not doing anything that you can't support with your joints. Beyond that, I would experiment with barbell front squatting and actually Zercher squatting, which is where you're gonna hold a barbell in your elbow pits. Those, again, are gonna be more self-limiting. You're not gonna be able to use as much weight, and the positioning might be a little bit more friendly for your knees. So give those tips a shot if squats are bothering your knees. Start by paying attention to your foot position. Think about spreading the floor and keeping your weight right in the middle of your foot. You can use a band to help teach you to keep your knees out, and again, dial in that foot position. And you can also squat to a box to teach you to sit back, use your hips, and make sure your knees are tracking appropriately. Good luck, guys.